It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Kruse.
Welcome to the show. I'll tell you what, it's been a busy month and a half between attending SHOT Show in Las Vegas, exhibiting at the Washington Sportsman Show in Puyallup in Western Washington, and now getting back home from the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show, the second biggest show in the nation. That one took place last week at the Expo Center in Portland, Oregon. It filled my heart with happiness to see so many listeners drop by our booth and say hello. And as always, it was great to see what was new in terms of vendors and record a bunch of interviews. With that in mind, we've got some really good guests for you today. And in just a minute, you're going to hear from Alex Maury. He's the president of Star-Batt. And if you've ever been in the backcountry, we'll say in your pickup truck or your SUV, and maybe you're at elk camp or deer camp or duck camp or pheasant camp, and there's no cell service, but you've got to stay connected. Well, what do? Star-Batt is the solution for you. It connects with Starlink and gives you internet service no matter where you are in the world. After we talk to Alex, we'll be talking with Trey Carskadon. He's going to preview two shows that are coming up next week. The first is the Great Alaska Sportsman Show. This one is happening in Alaska. It's been taken over by a new company and revamped from what you've seen the last couple of years. So if you're one of our listeners on KBYR AM 700 out of Anchorage, I think you're going to be interested in this show, and you're going to want to attend it after Trey tells you more about it. Trey's also going to preview the Central Oregon Sportsman Show, taking place at the Deschutes County Fairground in Redmond, Oregon. Our listeners tuning in on KBND out of Bend, Oregon, are definitely going to want to attend, as well as listeners from all over Central and Eastern Oregon and Southeast Washington. Our next stop is in the Dalles, Oregon. That borders the Columbia River, and right across the Columbia River is Washington State. It's an area that Marc Bush, the owner of Twisted Waters Guide Service, calls home, and he's going to tell you about fishing this stretch of the river from now into late spring. He'll start off telling you about walleye fishing, then he's going to tell you about spring Chinook salmon fishing, and we'll wind up talking about shad fishing, a really fun thing to do once the calendar turns to June. And if you got kids, you've got to try this out. It is an absolute hoot. American shad. They may not taste the best, but they make for some really good bait for a variety of fish and shellfish. Our final guest of the day, that would be Steven Cahill. He is the owner of Hooking Them Up Fishing Charters. He's based in Port Hardy, BC. That's on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. It's about as far west as you can go in the province of British Columbia. And so the very north end of Vancouver Island, kind of a frontier town. I've been there several times. I've enjoyed fantastic fishing. And if you are weighing whether to go fishing at a luxury Alaskan lodge or Steven Cahill's lodge in Port Hardy, British Columbia, I would definitely tend towards Port Hardy. Here's why. Number one, he's got a great lodge with great food. It's all inclusive. Number two, the cost is much, much more affordable than what you're going to pay in Southeast Alaska at a lodge. And number three, the retention limits for salmon, for lingcod, and rockfish, much more generous than what you're going to find in Southeast Alaska these days. And on that note, let's go ahead and see what's in store for us for our first interview of the day. We've got some more audio for you from the Washington Sportsman Show in Puyallup. It's been a pretty good show. A lot of exhibitors here, a lot of new ones. One of them is a company called Star-Batt, and they have a solution for all of you who are out at elk camp or deer camp or somewhere else in the backcountry where you don't have access to the internet. And it's called Star-Batt. With us here to tell you more is the president, Alex Maury. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, John.
So this is a problem a lot of folks have. I mean, let's face it. We're all addicted to the internet. A lot of folks just can't get away for 7 days without checking in with work. That's just the way of the world these days. And quite frankly, if something goes wrong, you need to contact people in case of an emergency. Are those some of the reasons you came up with Star-Batt?
Yeah, so I'm a user of this product myself, and before being involved with the company, this was a DIY solution that we built to accommodate our own lives and our own hobbies and recreation. And the story that led this product to existence was I had a 3-week hunting trip, some back-to-back hunting trips planned, and I had some career changes happening at the same time, and it was incredibly stressful how I was going to take those trips and stay connected and coordinate everything that was happening in my personal life. I connected with a buddy from church, Andrew, and he said, hey, I built this solution that powers the Starlink Mini and allows you to stay connected when you're off grid. And so I took the solution on that hunting trip, and I realized that it actually solved both my problems. Not only was I able to stay connected with my team and clients during my career transition, but I realized what the next career would be. I realized this was a very viable product that would change a lot of people's lives.
Let's talk a little bit about Starlink. A lot of people have heard about it. A lot of people know it's satellite-based and it provides internet service. Tell me more.
Starlink has a few different hardware options. The one that we've really encapsulated here is the Starlink Mini. The Starlink Mini is a very portable internet receiver that has a router built in, but it still requires power. And so Elon built this very minimalistic footprint internet device, but there's no way to power it. And so how portable is it really if you rely on grid power? And so what we did is we put it inside of a IP65 weatherproof case and provided enough power to make it last 24 hours on a single charge.
And how big is this case for our listeners?
It's a standard Pelican 1450 case. It's about 17 inches wide, about 8 inches deep, and it's about 27 pounds. So it is a little bit of a heavier solution. We went with a lithium iron phosphate battery, which is safer but more energy dense than a lithium ion. And so it is a little bit of a heavier solution, but it's robust, and you're going to get years of use out of this.
And again, we're not talking backpacking here. We're talking, deer camp, elk camp. You're back in the backcountry. You've gotten back there with your pickup or whatever, even your side-by-side. So I get that. Let's talk about powering the Star-Batt.
Yeah, so we have a variety of charging options. So you have a traditional AC charger for wall outlets. We come with a DC charger for your vehicle, and we also sell a solar option, which with about 5 hours of good exposure in a 24-hour window, you can run this system indefinitely.
Wow. So as for the AC and especially for the DC with the car charger, how long does it take to charge it up?
On the AC, it only takes about 3.5 hours from completely dead. On the car charger, you're typically limited by a 10-amp fuse. And so it takes about 8 hours to charge it from a vehicle, and the solar panel, about 5 hours.
Okay. And how long does the charge last?
You're going to get about 24 hours of life out of our Star-Batt Mini. We have an unreleased model that's coming out this March that's airline compliant and also offers some additional runtime. You're going to get about 27 hours out of that new model called the Star-Batt Plus.
Wow. So let's talk price point on these.
The Star-Batt Mini retails at $10.99. The Star-Batt Plus is going to retail at $15.99, and our solar panel is $5.99.
Okay. This is a real investment in this day and age, folks. Again, a lot of us just can't afford to be off the grid anymore for a lengthy period of time, and this is a definite solution. And the great thing about this, it works anywhere, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. I'm a big duck hunter, and I often tell the story that I'll get calls from the buddies asking if I'm in for a mallard shoot in the morning. And my first question historically has always been, is there cell service? Because as a remote worker, I'm flexible, but I have that pesky 11 a.m. call like many of us do. And so that's no longer a worry. If I get invited to go out duck hunting or recreating, I don't have to worry about what I have going on. I can grab the Star-Batt with me, bring it into the duck blind, excuse myself for that call, and then get back into the field.
Love it. So where are you based?
We're up in Coeur d'Alene region of North Idaho. For those familiar with the region, we're in Spirit Lake.
That is a very nice area to call home. Last but not least, how can folks get a hold of the Star-Batt and in March, the Star-Batt Plus?
You can find us online at starbat.com. That's star-bat with 2 T's, and on social media at Star-Batt USA.
Star-Bat, again, B-A-T-T, that's star-bat.com. Or on social media, just go to Star-Batt, again, 2 T's, USA. Check them out. If you need to stay connected in the backcountry, Star-Batt is definitely for you. Alex, great stuff here. Thanks for sharing it with us on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. Have a great day.
Explore the Dalles, the hub where discovery and history come together. Whether the Northwest is your home or you're on an adventure, the Dalles welcomes you. Just 80 miles east of Portland is the perfect year-round escape with a community that cares about you. 300 days of sun, breathtaking outdoor recreation, and a downtown full of the unexpected. Oh, and the rich history that began before the Oregon Trail. Start planning at explorethedalles.com.
Do you want to go saltwater fishing while staying at a luxury lodge and filling the freezer with all sorts of great fish from salmon to halibut to lingcod and more? Well, it's hard to do that anymore in Southeast Alaska, but you can do it with a lot more fish and a lot better price in Canada. Head to Port Hardy at the north end of Vancouver Island and go fishing with Hooking Them Up Fishing Charters. Go to vanislefishing.com. That's VANISLE fishing.com.
When you think of Work Sharp knife and tool sharpeners, you probably think of sharpeners for the shop or the field, but Work Sharp has a whole lineup of sharpeners for the kitchen, too. We're talking about everything from easy-to-use manual and electric knife sharpeners to ceramic honing rods, whetstones, and the new rolling knife sharpener, and innovative manual sharpeners that will do wonders for your cutlery. Make sure there's never a dull moment in your kitchen. Check out the entire product line and order today at WorkSharpTools.com. That's WorkSharpTools.com.
Get ready for adventure. Choose your path at this year's Big Horn Show. Bring the whole family and enjoy wildlife vendors, hands-on activities, and must-see seminars. March 19th through 22nd, the Big Horn Show takes over the Spokane County Fairgrounds. Get tickets today at bighornshow.com. The 2026 Big Horn Show is presented by the Kalispel Tribe of Indians.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Kruse. We've been exhibiting at the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show in Portland, Oregon, second biggest show in the entire nation. But this company has got a couple more shows coming up. Now, one of them is actually taking place in Anchorage, Alaska, and we've got an affiliate up there, KBYR AM 700. So if you're listening, this is the show for you. With us here to tell you more about it is Trey Carskadon. Trey, great to have you back on the air.
Thanks so much, John. Good to be back.
So the dates for this Anchorage show, March 6th through the 8th. I understand you've got a new venue this year.
Well, actually, go back to the good old days back at the Sully. So we're headed back to Sullivan Arena, and where that show really was at its peak for most Alaskans know for decades. So it's going to be good to get out of the deny and back to the Sully.
So I understand where it's been the last couple of years. There's been a lot of frustration because it was a smaller venue and parking was just atrocious.
Yeah, there was a lot of negatives associated with the deny. It's a nice facility for a little convention center, but it's really not big enough for that show. And parking was a real issue. Not so at Sullivan Arena. Plenty of parking right there on site. This will be a much larger show. And Sportsman Shows is what we do. We have one of the largest in the country that we produce in Portland. We have a Central Oregon show. We have a Washington show. And what we've done up in Anchorage, which is exactly what you want, is we've brought this back to being a pure sportsman show. So a lot of hunting and fishing and outdoor recreation are represented at the show. And all those home show items are going away.
That's great, because I've been to quote-unquote sportsman shows that you're kind of wondering what kind of show is this, because you're seeing, bamboo pillows, you're seeing people who are trying to sell you kitchen sinks, and it's like, this isn't sportsman show stuff. So I'm really glad to hear that you're focusing on the basics that people want: hunting, fishing, outdoors recreation. I understand you're going to probably have more than 200 exhibitors there?
We are. We've actually filled the arena. We're super happy about that. It wasn't easy because when we inherited this, it had, frankly fallen on kind of tough times, and they were losing attendance. And we learned last July, late June, that this was coming our way, and we got to work on it right away. We're really grateful to Melissa Norris over at Fish Alaska and the folks at Fish Alaska and Hunt Alaska magazine. They've been a huge help, and they're going to be our media partner at the show, as well as Mr. Kruse here with his show, which we're very grateful for. And yeah, the charters, the retailers, we have butcher supply, we have quite a bit of hunting, rafting. a lot of boats. Again, it's really sizing up to be a fabulous show.
You know, here in Portland, you've got a lot of overlanders, which is very common in the American West, but it certainly has a place in Alaska, too. Are you going to have some of that up there and maybe some RV dealers?
We're going to have some RV dealers. I'm still kind of getting a beat on, really what's going to be there. We're right in the middle of our show season. So, the Portland show has got like 800 vendors. And so my head's kind of spinning on what's going to be there. But we are definitely going to have some RV dealers, at least one or two with a good selection. And we might have some overlanding as well.
All right. Well, it looks like good times are coming back to the Great Alaska Sportsman Show happening March 6th through the 8th in Anchorage. What's the website folks should go to find out more?
It's greatalaskansportsmanshow.com.
That's greatalaskansportsmanshow.com. Check it out. Big plans to attend if you are in the Last Frontier and in Anchorage. Next, let's talk about the Central Oregon Show. Now, this one's running March 5th through the 8th at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds in Redmond. That's in Central Oregon. And this is a gem of a show. I love it. It's the last one that you typically have, but it's a good one. It's not the biggest one, but outfitters in particular love it because they book a lot of clients from an affluent audience that are really outdoors enthusiastic.
They are, and we've done a really good job this year of having more retail opportunities at the show. Marc's got this massive ammo sale, and people, John, literally take hand trucks of ammo out of that show starting on Wednesday. It's incredible. Like you mentioned, a lot of outfitters, guides, there's rod manufacturers, there's all kinds of fishing tackle, apparel, and a huge RV sale on site. This year, what we've thrown in, and no pun intended, is axe throwing, and that'll be free for folks, free with admission into the show. ODFW, Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, has their passport program. Addicted Fishing, for the first time, is going to have a booth at the show. And this is a show that sells out early for us with exhibitors. There's a lot of demand to get into this show. Thanks to the folks in Central Oregon and beyond, this show has been a real winner for us. It brings people from as far away as Northern California and Boise and the Tri-Cities. And we're just so grateful for the support that we get at this, and the sales that go on there are amazing. And it's, goes both ways, John. We have show-only pricing, which certainly brings the people, and they support it by turning out, and, by the probably about 15,000 this next year.
So I've got to ask about the axe throwing, and I'm thinking to myself in my head about Ralphie in A Christmas Story, and everybody's saying you're going to shoot your eye out. Now with an axe, I'm thinking people are going to be saying, don't chop your leg off. So is this a supervised event?
It is. We're working with a company called Bend Axe, and this is what they do. They've got a trailer that's set up. I believe it's going to be outside, but it may be under one of the covered areas. But yeah, it's free, and you get some instruction and very safe. This is what these folks do. And so you don't have to worry about axes flying all over the place and having to duck or anything like that. And we thought, this is something that's going to be different and, kind of a lot of fun, that's on with our other, events that we have going on. Addicted has their bash on Saturday afternoon. We have, of course, the Les Schwab Kids Free Trout Pond, which is always a home run for us. As I mentioned earlier, the ODFW's passport promotion, the Head and Horns competition, the Wall of Kings. We have several shows within the shows. Another one is the boat show that's there, the boat sale that we have going on. So there's really, something for everybody. And particularly if you're in the market for an RV, this honestly is the place to be. There's no bigger selection of RVs and dealers east of the Cascades that you'll find outside of this show. This show is big in a lot of ways.
And I've got to echo that. I've been to the Central Oregon Sportsman Show several times, and there's acres upon acres of RVs on sale and display. We're talking all sizes here. We're talking about small trailers. We're talking about medium size. We're talking about big trailers. We're talking about the big Class A motorhomes. We're talking Class C motorhomes. We're talking Class B vans. It's all there for you. If you're in the market for an RV and you live anywhere in the Northwest, whether it's the Pacific Northwest or the Inland Northwest, this is a show you don't want to miss. The Central Oregon Sportsman Show, March 5th through the 8th, again at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds in Redmond, Oregon. And what is the website folks should go to for this one?
It's cosportsmanshows.com. That's cosportsmanshows.com. And a couple quick other things, John, is parking's always free at this show. And, we hope folks come on down and enjoy what's going to be a very, very good time.
All right, so whether you're in Alaska and you want to attend the Great Alaskan Sportsman Show in Anchorage, or if you are in anywhere in the inland Northwest, especially if you're in the market for an RV or want to throw an X, head to the Central Oregon Sportsman Show. Again, you'll find that going off March 5th through the 8th at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds in Redmond, Oregon. Trey, great as always to chat with you about sportsman shows. Looking forward to doing it again soon.
Thanks so much, John. Really appreciate you coming over.
You've heard me talk about work sharp tools and knife sharpeners, tool sharpeners, and kitchen cutlery sharpeners they have available. But don't take it from me. Take it from Steve Sparks. He's a listener of this show, and he wrote me to say, thanks for mentioning Work Sharp on your show. I picked up the guided field sharpener after hearing your recommendation, and it's been fantastic. I've never had such consistent success sharpening knives before. I even bought some old pocket knives back to life, including one with a damaged edge. The field sharpener got me hooked, so much so that I just ordered their professional precision adjust sharpener last night. Thanks again for the great program and for tuning me on to a tool that really works. If you want to order the guided field sharpener or the professional precision adjust sharpener or any of the other great products that WorkSharp Tools has, go to their website. That's worksharptools.com.
Are you looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? Then set the hook, because we've got it right here for you. America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer affordable platforms to reach thousands of listeners interested in fishing, hunting, and the outdoors. Find out more by contacting John Kruse through his website at americaoutdoorsradio.com.
Next up, we've got Marc Bush on the line. He is the owner of Twisted Waters Guide Service, based in the Dalles, Oregon. That's right in north central Oregon, adjacent to the Columbia River, one of the best rivers to fish in the entire Northwest. Marc, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you.
So it's show season right now. You're here at the Washington Sportsman Show, and then it's time to go fishing. What are you going to be fishing for in late February and March?
Well, I do the Redmond show as well, and right after that, I'm going to be going after some walleye.
All right, so the Redmond Show, that's the Central Oregon Sportsman Show, that's going to be going off in early March at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds in Redmond, Oregon. Okay, so March, it's walleye time.
Yes.
Now, where are you fishing for the walleye?
I'll be right below the John Day Dam and a little bit out of the Dalles Marina. I might venture out a little bit. I might go up to Arlington and check that area out. I don't do a lot of fishing up in Arlington, so it's kind of new water, and I want to expand my horizons.
Well, all three places, I know from previous experience, are solid places to catch walleye. Now, the Columbia River walleye fishery has an interesting history. They were introduced decades ago, and it used to be in the winter, the Columbia River would attract anglers from the Great Lakes after the walleye of a lifetime. We were talking walleye pushing 20 pounds, but those days seem to be over.
Well, I think there's a lot of pressure on the walleye right now. I don't think they're getting as big as they used to be. I think below Bonneville Dam, there used to be some really, really big walleye down there. And I have a theory that the pinnipeds found out that they taste good. So I think that's part of our problem.
Well, you can't play the seals and the sea lions because us humans love walleye just as much as they do. So that does make some sense. So what's considered a good walleye these days on the Columbia?
Well, that all depends on if you're going to eat it or if you're going to, catch it and take a picture and let it go. We've caught them all the way up to 34 inches, and that's not a common thing, but it happens.
34-inch walleye is about how many pounds?
I'd say over 10.
That is a walleye of a lifetime still for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Now, there's no limit on walleye on the Columbia River now. The Oregon and Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife have kind of declared war on smallmouth bass and walleye because they feel that they are eating a lot of salmon smolt.
That is correct. What I've done in my boat, I try to limit people to 8 fish, 8 walleye. You can keep as many smallmouth bass as you want me to fillet. I'll do it. And they're good eating as well. But the walleye, I think, are more under pressure, and I'm trying to kind of conserve them a little bit. Anything under 14 inches, I encourage people to let go because you don't even get a fish stick out of them when you fillet them.
Yeah, I was going to say, anything under 14, it's just not worth it.
Right.
But, so, the prime size is those 16 to 20 inches, isn't it?
Absolutely. 17, 18, 19-inch walleye are perfect eating. You get a really good fillet off of them. You can get the pin bones out real easy. It's prime eating.
And folks, if you haven't tried walleye before, and I'm preaching to the choir for those of you who live up in Minnesota and Michigan, it is probably the finest eating freshwater whitefish you're going to eat. It's just an absolutely delicious fish. So let's talk about catching them in March. How are you going about doing that in the Columbia? How deep are they, and how do you go about doing this?
Well, I do a lot of what I call downhill trolling. I troll with the current. I'm going barely faster than the current. And in early season when the water's still cold, I'm going deep, 30 to 60 feet sometimes, depending on where I am in the river and the structure.
What are you using to catch them?
Worm harnesses, bottom walker type setup, and just trolling that downriver.
Any particular brand?
I really like Mac's Lure Smile Blades. They've outperformed everything else that I've used for walleye.
And let's talk color. Come March, we're not really dealing with runoff very much, so the waters are fairly clear. What are you using?
I'm using bright colors at that time. I'm using a lot of pink. And we've got Siberian prawns in the Columbia River now. Somehow they got introduced too, and they're pink. And that's what the forage that the walleye are concentrating on.
That's fascinating. I've never heard that before. I always think pink for like pink salmon and for coho salmon. Never heard of it before for walleye, so that's great. What about chartreuse? That's always been a go-to color for a lot of folks.
Oh, if you're not running chartreuse or green or some type of green, you're making a mistake. One rod will have something chartreuse on it. At all times.
Of course, the chartreuse, that's probably your go-to color when the water is stained.
Yes, absolutely. And I go to a darker color. Stained water, dark colors. I'll use browns, blacks, stuff like that when it's a little cloudy.
Let's talk bait. I presume you're using night crawlers. Are you a half crawler guy or a full crawler guy?
I'm a full crawler guy. I want to keep them alive as long as I can so they don't smell dead. Once they die, they smell different. I want to keep that thing alive as long as possible. And that goes into how I rig the worms up as well to keep them alive a little bit longer.
Now, come April and May, you're going to be switching to spring Chinook. Where are you fishing for them?
I'm going to avoid Drano like the plague.
And Drano, folks, if you're not aware, they call it the toilet bowl because it's it's kind of a bay that goes into the river, and it's this very short circle. Everyone's basically fishing like 100, 200-yard circle, and it is true combat fishing. So I don't blame you for avoiding that. So where are you going?
I'm going to concentrate right above the Dalles Dam. I'm going to go in there and troll basically just the same as I would when I'm fall Chinook fishing with prawn spinners and stuff like that.
Gotcha. All right. And then we've got to talk shad. So the shad starts showing up in early June, and you can catch them all the way into early, sometimes mid-July. And this is a great fish for kids, isn't it?
Absolutely. I offer a discount for those trips, too. If you want to take your kids out, 14 years old or younger, let me know. We just go out, drop anchor, put the rods out, and catch fish until the kids get tired.
Are you using Dick Knight spoons or something else?
We use Dick Knight spoons, not exclusively. Last few years I've been experimenting with some beads. Anything that's glowing in the, UV, small presentation. I've caught them on just a bare red hook before too. So a Gamakatsu number 2, octopus hook, and they're hitting it.
The American shad is from the East Coast. It was introduced in the San Francisco area in the 1880s, and now there's literally millions of them that migrate up the Columbia River every year during the month of June and the month of July. And fishing around Bonneville Dam and near the Dalles and over by John Day Dam at Rufus is just fantastic. And you can easily fill up a 5-gallon bucket of shad. They are scrappy fighters. They run generally 1 to 2 pounds, but sometimes you'll get them up to 4+ pounds. And they're just a ton of fun to catch. And if you're a kid who's never caught, anything bigger than a bluegill or a perch or a small bass, it's just the fishing trip of a lifetime.
It's a kick in the pants. It is so much fun.
And here's the big question, though. Oily fish.
Yes.
What do most of your clients do with shad?
Well, I have a connection with the Dalles Discovery Center. I donate a lot of fish to them so that they have 2 eagles that they can't release back into the wild. So I donate bird food to the Discovery Center. I also have friends that use them for crab bait, halibut bait, sturgeon bait. So they're a forage fish. They're the ocean's lunchbox.
I agree. And folks, I can tell you from experience, shad is the best crab bait I have ever used. It's super oily and the crab love it. All right, before we go, what's the website and Facebook page folks should go to book a trip with you?
Well, I can be found on Facebook at Twisted Waters Guide Service Marc Bush, and the website is twistedwaters-gs.com. The best way to find me is on Facebook. Just send me a text message or an email or whatever, and we'll line something up.
That's Marc Bush with Twisted Waters Guide Service. Find him on Facebook or just Google him and go to his website. And if you're looking for a place to stay, go to the Dalles Area Chamber of Commerce website. That's explorethedalles.com. They've got plenty of places to eat, plenty of great places to stay. They've got wineries, they've got breweries, and they've got lots of other things to do. It's your great base camp for adventure. Again, explorethedalles.com and Twisted Waters Guide Service. Marc, thanks for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure.
Since 2006, Wounded Warrior Outdoors has stood proudly beside American heroes, providing therapeutic hunting and fishing adventures completely cost-free for wounded, ill, and injured veterans and active duty post 9/11 service members. Out in the wild or on the water, our warriors rediscover strength, resilience, and unbreakable spirit that defines this nation. Honor their service. Support their recovery. Visit WoundedWarriorOutdoors.com. Wounded Warrior Outdoors. Healing through adventure.
Do you remember shooting a .22 rifle for the first time? I do. I was a Boy Scout in summer camp, and that experience launched my passion for shooting that carries over to this day. If you're looking for a bolt-action .22 caliber rifle to introduce your kid into shooting, you really need to buy a Mini Bolt Youth G2 from Henry Repeating Arms. This bolt-action rifle is sized for smaller frames. It only weighs 3¼ pounds and has an 11.5-inch length of hole. The Mini Bolt Youth G2 also features high-visibility fiber optic sights that make aiming intuitive. You can choose from a classic black synthetic stock or Muddy Girl camo, and they've got something brand new. That would be a newly integrated feed ramp in the receiver for easier, smoother loading. The Made in America Mini Bolt Youth G2 is available at sporting goods stores throughout the country. Find an authorized dealer at henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com.
When you buy a sharpener from Worksharp, you aren't purchasing a product, you're making a very good long-term investment. Whether you're buying a knife sharpener for the field, a knife and tool sharpener for the shop, or have a knife sharpener on the kitchen counter, you'll find they are durable and will do the job of sharpening your knives and tools for years to come. Make sharp happen with Worksharp at a sporting goods store near you and at WorksharpTools.com.
Are you looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? Then set the hook, because we've got it right here for you. America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer affordable platforms to reach thousands of listeners interested in fishing, hunting, and the outdoors. Find out more by contacting John Kruse through his website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. Hurry, though. If you wait too long, the big opportunity might just get away. AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com.
There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven. You can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted, it works, it's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
You're back in with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Kruse. This weekend, we are taking you to British Columbia. It's the far western province of Canada. And if you go to the mainland, you can take a ferry ride to Vancouver Island, very sizable island. And if you drive to the north end, you're going to reach a town called Port Hardy. It's literally the end of the road, and it's got this whole frontier town feel, and it offers fabulous saltwater fishing. Well, this here to tell you more about the fishing and the lodge he owns and other reasons you should come, like the spectacular price, is Steven Cahill, the owner of Hooking Them Up Fishing Charters out of Port Hardy. Steven, welcome back to the show.
Thanks a lot, John. I appreciate it.
Let's talk about getting there. Now, our Northwest listeners, they're going to drive up there. They're going to head towards the ferry just south of Vancouver. They're going to take the ferry to Nanaimo, and then they're going to drive north on the highway until they reach Port Hardy. But what about our listeners in other parts of the United States?
Well, it depends. We've got folks that drive up from Montana or fly from Colorado direct to Vancouver, but you still have to cross customs and you still have to take a ferry. But driving is an attainable goal depending on where you're from. We've had guys from Wyoming do it too. And then it's just a matter of lining up your flights when you book your trip. So we tell everybody to book early so you can get an affordable adventure for your adventure on your way there.
Now, a lot of our folks are used to booking trips into Southeast Alaska, but let's be honest, retention limits have really gone down, especially for king salmon. As a matter of fact, last year in Southeast Alaska, if you were on a charter boat between July all the way until August 9th, you could not keep a single king salmon. Different situation in Canada and British Columbia, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we specialize in a lot of different areas, and so it's kind of like hunting. So there's different regions. So we jump the boundary into the areas where you can obtain your maximum amount of fish so that the money you spend or your investment that you spend on a charter with us, you get to go home with your retention limit of fish, right? But I always tell the guys it depends on you. You know, I put the fish on the end of the line for you. You got to get it to the boat. That's your responsibility. And then I get it in the boat for you afterwards, and we put it in the cooler and everybody celebrates and you get to go home. But it's not as easy as that all the time because there's different aspects of nature and waves and wind and all kinds of other little things that pop up that a trained guide like myself can help coach you through that process, where sometimes an inexperienced one won't, and you end up losing the fish and the conundrum of problems, and everybody has a frowny face at the end of the day. Our goal is to not have that and see the rod go jingle jingle, fish on, here you go, hold your fish up, see you next year, hope to see you real soon kind of thing, and take your picture and put you on the website, and away you go, and you got all these memories and all these wonderful fish to go home with.
So, Steven, tell me a little bit about yourself and your guide experience.
So I've been a guide for over 27 years. I've lived on the coast for over 25. When you book a trip with us, you're booking the experience level on a private excursion, and you will see the difference when you fish with me. All my insights and experience and things that pop up, and my quick expertise and on how to solve them, double headers, getting tangled, things getting run around the boat and into the engine. I generally don't lose fish when these things happen because I react so quick due to my experience level.
Gotta love that. If you're hearing some background noise, that's because we're broadcasting from the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show in Portland, Oregon at the Expo Center. Obviously, this is pre-recorded for your benefit. Let's get back to the retention limits, because you're allowed to have 2 king salmon a day and 4 king salmon total. What else can you keep fishing in BC versus Southeast Alaska?
Sure. So the silvers start to show up late June, and you can keep 4 of them. There's some areas where your retention limit is 2 wild a day, maximum of 4 in possession. Others is it changes throughout the season to 1 wild and 1 hatchery, and it's usually not a problem to pick them up. So you can go home with 8 salmon in total. If the chum are around, you can have a couple of them. You can mix them in with your king salmon or your silver salmon. So you can obtain 6 lingcod, 3 lings a day, maximum 6 in possession. And same thing with your rock cod, 3 a day, maximum 6 in retention. And our halibut slot limit just went up. It's not officially posted. I'll have the exact number in March, but I do know that it went up from last year. So that'll be a big win for my guests.
Something else that's wonderful about fishing with you is you've got Hardy Boys, which is a great fishing processor. Tell me what they do for clients.
Sure. So Bruce and Carol have a fantastic operation. They vacuum seal, portion, box, and freeze your catch, and we include that in the price. And then if you guys want to pay extra for candied, smoked, and other things like that, they offer another great product that you can do for your catch, and they'll have that prepared when we drop your fish off. There's a little form we fill out, and we just tick the box and tell the folks that's what you want, and they just make a wonderful product, and they have it all ready to go for when you guys leave on your way home.
Let's talk about the accommodations.
So it's over 3,000 square foot home on almost 3 acres. There's a queen and twin bed in each room, a 50-inch flat screen TV, wood burning fireplace, shared washroom, 2 black massage chairs, and we also have an outdoor unit that's got a queen and twin in it as well, and your own washroom for groups of 6.
And well, I understand, thanks to your background, the food's pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a retired chef, so we do Traeger smoked brisket sandwiches, pulled pork sandwiches off the Traeger barbecue, steak night, cedar plank salmon, halibut chips, fish tacos, stuff like that, homemade desserts, farm fresh eggs for breakfast because there's chickens on the property, so you hear the rooster. You know, when it's eggs and wakey time, the rooster's crowing. Yeah, and I'm up crowing too usually, telling you to get a move on.
There you go. Gotta love that. And let's talk about the boats you're fishing out of.
Sure, I've got a 27-foot Grady White we just procured there this winter, and it's got twin 200s and a rear kicking station with a rear steerage. And then I've got a 26-foot Larson with a 300 Yami on the back, and the same thing with a rear kicker steering station. Gives you a little advantage when you're fighting the fish at the back of the boat. You haven't got to get the client to steer or worry. You can just turn right into that fish and keep it on its side, so when it's running back and forth, it's a direct line of tug-of-war between you and the fish, so it doesn't get tangled up in the prop or somebody else's boat, right?
Oh, I gotta love that, because yes, I've had that exact scenario I don't know how many times over the years, so being able to keep that line out of the prop, that is a nice thing, and being able to keep it away from the next boat, also very nice. So you've got these great accommodations. It's basically a lodge experience. It's an all-inclusive trip, breakfast, lunch, dinner, taken care of. You've got great boats to fish out of, and folks, Grady Whites are the bomb. I love them. They handle the water really well, and there's lots of fighting room in the back, lots of back deck space for you. And again, very good retention limits. You're going to come home with a whole lot of fish in terms of salmon and halibut and lingcod and rockfish. A lot more than you'll come home with if you go to Southeast Alaska. That is for sure. Now, the best part, though, is the price. Because of the exchange rate, you can literally offer a trip to your place for about a third or half that of a luxury Alaska Lodge experience.
Yeah, that's right. I always tell the guys 3 people can come fishing with us for the price of 1 going to Southeast Alaska. So we'll give you the sort of what it would cost on a breakdown of a 5-night, 4-day excursion or adventure. These are approximation because we do bill in Canadian, so the exchange rate fluctuates and all that. But it's approximately, for 2 people, $2,824 USD per person plus tax. A group of 3 is $2,607 USD plus tax. And then a group of 4 would be $2,389 plus tax. And a 4-night and 3-dayer is $2,679 for 2. A group of 3 is $2,244 USD, and a group of 4 for a 4-night and 3-day is $2,172 plus taxes and fuel surcharge. And unfortunately, our fuel, you guys think your fuel is bad, ours is really bad.
But even with your fuel situation, again, folks, you just heard those prices. Go ahead and compare them to luxury guided trips from an Alaskan lodge, and you're literally going to find that the prices he just quoted you are going to be about half the price. So if you want to go to British Columbia all the way to the end of Vancouver Island to Port Hardy and bring home more fish, have that luxury experience at a fraction of the price. And by the way, you're going to see tons of wildlife too. It's just absolutely beautiful out there at the north end of Vancouver Island. The website to go to is vanislefishing.com. I'm going to spell that for you. That's vanislefishing.com, VANISLE fishing.com, VANISLEfishing.com. That's the website for hooking them up fishing charters in Port Hardy, BC. Book your trip with Steven Cahill. You're going to have a great time, and you're going to bring home a bunch of fish, and you're going to want to sign up to come back again. Steven, thanks for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure.
As we enter the home stretch of our show today, I want to tell you about some Sportsman shows that are coming up quick. That includes the 2 we've already told you about, the Central Oregon Sportsman Show in Redmond, Oregon, and the Great Alaska Sportsman Show in Anchorage, both happening next weekend. Also happening next weekend is the Idaho Sportsman Show at the Expo Idaho in Boise. The dates for that are Thursday, March 5th through Sunday the 8th. And on those same dates, you can also go to Minneapolis and take in the Northwest Sports Show. The week after that brings you the Sioux Empire Sportsman Show in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's March 12th through the 15th. As well as the Open Season Sportsman's Expo happening at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus, March 13th through the 15th. Finally, we've got the Bighorn Outdoor Adventure Show in Spokane. That one's going off March 19th through the 22nd. All sorts of sportsman shows coming your way. If you didn't get to hear the whole show today, we will upload it as a podcast. Just look for America Outdoors Radio wherever you consume your podcast. Here's hoping you're blessed, you're healthy, and do remember this. It is your country and your outdoors, so get out there and enjoy it.